Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Matt Fico. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator with the ARCA Monroe. Some of you may know me, but for those you don't, now you have a face to the emails and names that you might get a lot. We're presenting today on for the ARCA Monroe for our community support services for ComHab and Recreation Respite. We have Molly Fisher, who's our supervisor of ComHab. And we have Denisha Samuels, who is our manager of our Recreation Respite Program, who will be presenting today. And then at the end, we're going to have Carmela Whaley, who is our enrollment coordinator. So for anybody after today, if you'd like to apply for these programs, the next steps. So how to apply and kind of who to go to get everything set up. So without further delay, I will hand off. I think Denisha will be presenting first on Recreation Respite. Also, just one quick housekeeping thing. If people want to ask questions, feel free to either add your question in the chat box, or at the end of the presentation, you can unmute yourself and just ask the question out loud if you prefer that way as well. But if you put it in the chat box, we'll read it after the presentation. All right. Thanks. All right. Thanks, Denisha.
All righty. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay, great. Share content. Okay. Can you guys share my? Can you guys see my screen? Alrighty. Okay. Hi. I'm the Recreation Respite Coordinator. My name is Denisha, and a few things about me. I like long walks, sewing, reading, going to church, and traveling. I'm a recent SUNY Brockport College grad. And I'm very grateful to be working at the ARCA Monroe. It's afforded me with different opportunities, and from like working with people from all ranges of backgrounds and abilities. And I really like it here. Actually, March is going to be my 6 months, so I'm happy. What is recreation? Recreation provides a wide range of community activities to help promote independence and social skills. Recreation occurs in the community, ranging from small settings like bowling, and larger settings such as the New York State Fair. These are just some of the places we go. This is the Trans-Siberian Orchestra right here. We also went to Disney on Ice, and we also like to throw like dance parties. And this is our most recent event, or our most recent grant event, um, which was the Winter Wonderland dance party. We also like to go to the Rochester Museum and Science Center, which sorry, somebody just asked me to make it bigger. I don't know why it's not letting me present full screen. I think it's something wrong with the Canva app, so my apologies.
Denisha, are you in? Is this PowerPoint or is this another?
This is through Canva. It's like
it
is a PowerPoint, but it's through Canva.
I don't know at the bottom of the screen, the two arrows that are kind of pointing. Yeah. Well, that's the.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Does that help a little bit, Colleen, or I don't know?
Let's see. Okay, there we go. Better. Yes. Sorry, little technical difficulties. Okay, well, that last slide didn't want to show, but we go to the Rochester Museum and Science Center. We went to go kart racing at Marketplace Mall. Um, and then these are just some more pictures from our Winter Wonderland party. This picture over here to the right, we were at the Rochester Pinball Collective, and that was also a grant funded program. So everybody got to play for free. I also ordered pizza and wings, and that was also for free. Now, all of our stuff isn't for free, but sometimes we are able to provide those free events for people who might not be able to afford some of the other recreation activities that we do. Um, so, how is recreation beneficial? People supported get real world experience being out with other individuals in the community. And it also increases personal confidence, self awareness. It helps reduce feelings of depression and anxiety. In order to be eligible for this program, you must be OPWDD and Medicaid eligible. Um, so your care coordinator, they will be able to talk to you more about this. So your care coordinator would get a referral application, and you guys would fill that out together, and then they would submit that to Carmela. And then she would just make sure you guys have everything that you need, and then it would be forwarded to me, and then me and my supervisor Don Sinton, we will make a final decision. You must be community independent, which you should be able to be left alone for up to 15 minutes, which nobody's ever left alone for more than 15 minutes. It's usually less than that. Like if I have to go handle something with somebody else, or like if I have to run to the restroom, or things like that, but they'll never be like by themselves. Um, they must be able to like listen to instructions. So like if I say, hey, could you wait here for a second while I go grab tickets or grab something for somebody else? Um, and they must be able to make a phone call or come up with a backup plan. So sometimes we do go to these larger events like the New York State Fair, or we go to see like Hamilton, where we're packed and there's a bunch of people around. So they just have to, like, let's say if they do get separated from the group or they have to run to the bathroom, they should be able to make a backup plan or be able to at least call me and tell me where they are. And they must live with a family member. So the respite portion of the program is to give relief to caregivers at home. So if the person you support lives in a group home, they would not qualify for this service, unfortunately. They must be 18 years or older, and I am not able to administer medication. So if the person you support has like diabetes or needs to be on a certain medication at a certain time, like they should be able to administer that themselves because I cannot do that. So as far as like getting into the details and the nooks and crannies of the respite recreation program, transportation. So I think some programs do provide transportation to and from your home, but unfortunately we do not, unless stated otherwise. So like if we have a later event like Hamilton, or we're going to see Beetlejuice on the 18th, which we'll be getting out super late, like around like 11 o'clock, like then transportation will be provided home. But for the most part, we have two pickup and drop off locations, and those are either here at 2060 on Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road, or over at Arcworks at 1651 Lyle Avenue. And we are open to like making accommodations. Like we would just see once your individual gets in the program, how we can help you out, because we do want you to join. Registration and calendars. Registration and calendars are usually sent out the second week of the month. So like the form and the registration, the calendar and the registration form for March is going to get sent out this week. And the money in the form for March would have to be turned in by the first of the month, like that first week, like the first through the third. And they'll look something like this. I'm sorry, I know the print is kind of small, but this is just an example. Um, So February, we went to the Rochester Museum and Science Center on Saturday. We go to bowling almost every Monday if we're able to. The only reason we wouldn't go to bowling on a Monday is if like it was a holiday, like in January, Martin Luther King Day. We didn't go bowling. Um, we also do like arts and crafts, game nights. We go to Lasertron, and another most frequent activity we do is like dinner and a movie. This is the registration form. So this is what will get turned back into me. So I will send this out in the envelope, and I will also give you a return envelope. So it will look something like this. So to name the activity, the time for the activity, whether you need to bring money for food. It also give you like the date. And then right here, I will put the event cost, like whether it's free, or if you would have to bring money, or if it's like a grant funded event. Um, and then for most of our like week activities during the week, the drop off and pickup location is Artworks, just because most of the individuals who participate in rec work at Artworks. But if you did need to get picked up at 2060, because you live close to this location, that is something like we could work out. Um, and then these are just some more of our grant funded events. In attendance, we no, the activities don't have a cap um, for a certain amount of people. Right now, the largest group I usually take out is about 10 to 12 people. And that'd be like something like just for bowling, or if we have like 10 tickets to Hamilton or something like that, I'll uh, take about like 8 to 10 people. But usually for the larger events like Hamilton, um, or like Beetlejuice, I usually have somebody with me to help. Um, and attendance. We would like the person supported to at least come to 1 or 2 events a month. We know everybody has things going on, and it's more just like a fun program. But we would like to see everybody at least once to 2 times a month. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, Colleen, you have a question?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Trying to de-raise my hand. Bring it down. Couple things. This sounds like it's a program for individuals that have a higher level of abilities because of the independence. Um, can people bring a caregiver if needed to support them?
Yes, they can, but they wouldn't be able to get transportation through us. So I drive a van with all of the individuals, but they wouldn't be able to ride with us just because I cannot transport somebody who is not, an individual supported.
Okay, so they would have to get there separately then to
Yes,
whatever you were
the
doing.
caregiver would. Now, if the person supported wanted to ride with me, that's totally fine, but the caregiver would just have to like drive their own car.
Okay, and you talked about like dinner and a movie and some of those different things, ordering pizza and wings. If someone has diet restrictions, do you honor that or they kind of bring their own stuff? How does that work?
Um, they would have to, like, for example, if somebody was like allergic to peanuts, like I wouldn't, me, because me personally, I'm allergic to peanuts too. Like I would be mindful of that, but they also have to be mindful of that as well. Or like, let's say if somebody had a gluten um allergy or something like that, then they would have to make sure that they're able to manage that as well. Because sometimes, like when I am going to bowling, I have about 8 to 10 people with me, so they have to be like independent enough to know like what they can and cannot eat. Or I talk to the parent beforehand. Like some people have not necessarily like allergies, but their parent just wants them to eat healthier. So like I do work with them like with that, and like when they're ordering food, just be like, hey, like maybe we should pick the healthier option. But as far as like allergies and whatnot like that, they should be able to like know
I
and
do,
manage that themselves.
Hey, Denisha, if I could just jump in real quick.
Yeah.
All those questions are answered during the intake process, where we go over safeguards, not only the things we want to accomplish in rec, but also how to keep the person supported safe. So to answer your question, yes, we do take that into account during our intake process.
Thank you.
There's another question that popped up. Denisha says, can you drop off and pick up at the event rather than at the ARC if it's closer to the person's home?
Yes.
Is that what you meant, Beth? Like, if with the ARC, are you asking would the ARC be able to pick up and drop off at the person's home, or would the person just?
No, she answered the question. I didn't know
Okay.
if we could, because where we live, it'd be closer just to drop off at the events and pick up, I think.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Yep.
No problem. Any other questions? No? Oh, what is the cost range? You mean the cost range like for all of the activities put together, or for like a singular like activity? How much is a
Well,
activity?
I'm just asking that because, I mean, it could cost quite a bit to go to see Hamilton. Or if you're going bowling, I mean, people only have limited budgets a lot of times. So I'm just trying to figure out what would be
No,
on
I
a
understand.
monthly average.
So to answer your question, we get an annual grant through the New York State ARC, and that's what we use for the more expensive events like Hamilton. So they're free of charge. When Denisha plans the rest of the month, she takes into account the cost. And like I said, we try to keep it as low as possible. But those larger events that she spoke about, those were grant funded and they are of no cost to the person supported.
Okay. Anything else?
Thanks, Denisha.
Okay, no problem.
All right, we'll move on to Molly.
Hello. Let me start my sharing. Can you see my screen? Awesome. Okay. Hello, my name is Molly Fisher, and I am the supervisor for community habilitation at the Arc of Monroe. I will be talking about our community habilitation services today. Community Hab is an individualized service that supports people in becoming as independent as possible. And ComHab is also builds people's confidence and social skills. Services are usually provided in groups of 2 to 3 individuals with 1 staff member, but can be one-to-one with a staff member on an individualized basis. We offer ComHab to people living with a caregiver, living independently, and residential ComHab to people living in certified settings, both through the ARC and outside of the ARC. Some of the skills learned in ComHab include social skills building, financial independence, like learning and practicing how to make purchases in the community, or assisting with learning how to manage funds with a rep payee, exploring a person's hobbies and interests in the community, building healthy habits like exercising and eating well, and ComHab does have a YMCA membership that we utilize a lot for that kind of goal. Health and hygiene, like maintaining a clean apartment or practicing daily routines. Safety awareness, like practicing crossing streets safely or stranger awareness. And those are just some of the goals that we have worked on with individuals currently served. In this slide, you can see some of the ways that community habilitation may look like. Things like going grocery shopping, exercising at the gym, building social skills by playing games together, volunteering in the community, visiting museums like the Strong Museum, visiting places like Lollipop Farm, cooking, learning to do laundry, and all of these activities can be working on goals with individuals. For our Community Habilitation Services program, we are looking for candidates that meet the following criteria. Like recreation, we ask that there's at least 15 minutes of community independence, but as Denisha had said, no one is really left alone for 15 minutes. But it allows things for like tending to the other person in a group or bathroom breaks in the community. Being able to self-medicate is important because our staff is not trained to pass medicine. Not having a community behavior support plan, and having OPWDD waiver approval for community habilitation services. We also want to help support individuals with achieving their goals, and so we ask for participants to have 80% in attendance rate. We have 5 full-time ComHab workers and 2 part-time workers. And I'm very happy to say we are almost fully staffed, which means we can support more people and have webinars like this. Our managerial staff include myself, Don Sinton, the Director of Community Services, who oversees Community Hab and Recreation Respite, Pam Carbone, who helps with our administrative needs in the office, and David Dean, who oversees our departments along with other community-based programs at the ARC. Community Hab is a group service that is available 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Okay, some of our frequently asked questions that we tend to get. Can I have more than one community habilitation day a week? And yes, we do have people who see ComHab workers more than one day a week. If OPWDD approves of it, and you will get a weekly number of hours that you're allowed. So that can be accommodated for those people. How are groups determined? We look at a variety of factors, including trying to group people that have similar ages, similar personalities, goals, and are close geographically to one another. Can someone participate in ComHab and Rec at the same time? Yes, we have many individuals who participate in both ComHab and recreation, as long as the person lives at home with a caregiver and OPWDD approves, they can participate in both. And can I be part of a day program and participate in ComHab? Yes, we have several people who do that. Again, you'd have to talk to your care coordinator about what you'd have to do in order to make sure that OPWDD approves of that all, and we can accommodate that. Either by picking up an individual to extend their day through ComHab, or some people do day program part-time and do ComHab on the days that they're not going to their day program. So in summary, ComHab is a service that can be individualized to a person's needs and wants. It is a group service, but it can be one-to-one on a case-to-case basis. And ComHab provides opportunities to explore one's community, build relationships with others, and learn independent living skills, and also increases self-confidence. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentations. If you're interested in moving forward with a referral, you can talk to Carmela and Matt. If you have specific questions with ComHab, maybe a certain person that you're thinking of that you'd like more information about, you can contact me. And we look forward to hearing from you soon. Are there any questions about ComHab?
Looks like Colleen has her hand raised.
Yes.
Just a couple, what are the ages? Do you start accepting individuals for ComHab? Because I'm in a school district, you know, and working with students through the age of 21. So are you starting like at 16 typically? Somebody might get approved for a few hours a week of ComHab?
For this service, and jump in if I'm wrong, Carmela or Matt, because it's the Arc of Monroe, it starts at 18.
Okay, and is there a wait list?
Currently, we're trying to enroll people, so we are enrolling as we speak.
Yeah, just to reiterate, Molly had said we were almost fully staffed, which is great. And so we are taking people in right now. There is no wait list.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for me about ComHab?
All right, thanks, Molly.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We will hand off to, oh, I'm sorry, Denisha, did you?
I just thought about it for the registration form. I know, Colleen, you were asking about like the prices and whatnot. They don't have to sign up for everything. So like if their budget a week, if they can only do bowling every week, I would still love that. Just for them to do bowling, which is only $10.50, and then that pays for shoes and 2 games. But like let's say if they did have their own bowling shoes because they just really love to bowl, then the price would go down to like $7.50. So yeah, they don't have to sign up for everything, but they could just like pick and choose what they want to do. And then we do have the option of having those free events, and the forms are like for those free events, like the forms are like first come first serve. So as I'm getting the registration forms for the month, the people who turn them into me the soonest, not having the money just really has to be turned in by the beginning of the month, but like once I send out the registration form the second week of the month, like they could turn that registration form in as soon as possible and then just communicate to me when they're going to get the money to me. Like I don't want money to be like a big issue, but I just really want people to come and join and to be able to participate. So as long as they turn that registration form in, then we can talk about, them turning in their money, and they don't have to participate in everything. So if they only can afford or only want to go to bowling every week, then that's fine. Or if they just want to wait for the excuse me, if they just want to wait for the grant funded events and go to those and get tickets to those, then that's cool too. Like we went to WWE and we had like over 30 tickets. For the Trans Siberian Orchestra, we had over 20 tickets. For the theater shows, we tend to get like a little less, but as people start to come, and once we get our new grant for this year, then I'm sure like we'll get more tickets for people to be able to go. So, yes. But thank you for your time. It's very appreciated.
Thanks, Nisha. It was great information. All right, I think if there's no further questions on the actual programs themselves, or if you're still thinking of something, I will hand off to Carmela to talk about how to join these wonderful programs.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning, everyone. As Matt mentioned earlier, I'm Carmela Whaley, the enrollment coordinator with the Arc of Monroe, and I provide support to both community habilitation and recreation respite in regards to individuals looking to request either or both of these services. So if you're a family member, caregiver, care coordinator, care manager, the next step, if you are interested in or supporting the person you support to apply for the services would be to complete the referral application. And that can be found right on our website, which is arcmonroe.org. So you would just encourage your care coordinator or care manager as well that every time they are completing an application, to go to our website and access the application, because I do frequent updates to it. So the most up-to-date copy is going to be found here. I discourage people from printing them out and filing them. So please, just every time you are looking, for our application, just go right to our website. So once on the website, you can see right where the mouse is pointed is download referral forms. You would just click on that link. It's going to take you to a new page where you would just scroll down a little bit and under application and forms, more specifically for programs and services, there is an orange button, as we refer to. So you would just click on that link to download, and it'll generate a PDF form, which is our application. So you are welcome to fill it out. You can type right in the form. It's fillable, or you can print and handwrite, whichever is a preference. Please fill out the form in its entirety. All the information that we are asking for, we do need. It's pretty straightforward information and demographic information. So please, if you could, just make sure all information is filled out. And then right when services are requested, you can see there's community rehabilitation and recreation respite. You can either select one or both on the same form. It's completely up to you and what services you're interested in, or the person you support is interested in requesting. Okay, and then again, it's just finishing off the rest of the information on that first page. So the application itself is only one page. More importantly is the second page of the referral application. So in addition to that application, we need supporting documentation. So when you're on this second page, this is our essential checklist, if you will. You would look at the columns and you would look for community rehabilitation and recreation respite. So depending on whether it's one or both, you would essentially follow those columns from north to south, right down, okay? And you are looking at only attaching the documents that I'm asking for in the white boxes. The blackout boxes indicate that that is not required for that specific service. And then once you're in that column, you would just be looking left and going down. And it's broken down by sections of required, if there's service specific, and then person specific. Okay. What I will say for the community rehabilitation service, we do have a separate additional addendum that does need to be completed. Okay. And that's found back on our website. So that's an additional form that provides that team with just some more additional information about the person. Okay. So another form essentially that would need to be completed. And this talks more about specifically the ComHab service and, getting a better idea of the person's support needs, and then, what are they looking to work on within the community rehabilitation service. So again, pretty straightforward. We would need that completed. Just jumping back to the referral checklist. The biggest things for both of these services is that we do need service authorizations to be included with the packet. We want to make sure that the person has the approval from OPWDD for community rehabilitation services and for recreation respite. And then there's, of course, other additional documents that your care coordinator, care manager, and obviously even family can have. For community rehabilitation, we do need some medical paperwork. So we're looking for a physical and medication list that's dated within a year. So those are some of the things that will hold up a referral from being processed. So it'll kind of get filed with me, and I'll follow up with your care coordinator, care manager, as well as I try to keep families in the loop too of these are the missing documentations that we need in order for me to process the service request in our system and then get it over to the respective team so that they can further review it and then be in touch with you about the steps proceeding in the process. So once you have the application, completed, and if it's ComHab, you have the addendum completed, and you've attached all the necessary paperwork that's indicated by following, again, the white boxes. And you followed the timeframes, if there's timeframes on the documents, like having a physical dated within a year. So if you have everything, you are welcome to email it to my email, or you can postal mail it if preferred to the address that is located on the bottom portion of this checklist. Completely your preference. We've gone more electronic. So again, welcome to email it to myself as well. And I review it, make sure the person is, meeting the criteria of both of the services that, in this case, ComHab and Recreation Respite. And then if I have everything, I process it and get it over to those teams. I do communicate with the care coordinator, care manager, and try to keep the family in the loop again once that has been processed, so that the communication goes from our department to the respective program department. So that, in a very brief overview, is our referral application process. And you are welcome to reach out with any questions. Certainly happy to answer at any point. You can feel free to email me. And so, Colleen, go right ahead.
Sorry for being a pain. No.
No, that's what this is what this is for. So definitely ask your questions.
No, and you talked about earlier that OPWDD determines how many hours, like, of community hab that an individual will get, right? So who does that initial contact? Is that the care coordinator should be doing that piece with OPWDD, and what department in OPWDD is determining that? So, because a lot of times families right now don't have good care coordination. So things could be very, very delayed trying to get into one of your programs because they don't have that. So where would a family, or how would they go about getting that information that you need from OPWDD?
Yep. So for the service authorization that I'm looking for to be a part of the referral application packets, so the care coordinator, the care manager would need to submit what is called the SARF into OPWDD. So the authorization itself is going to depend on how many other waiver services the person already receives. So it's very person specific. There is OPWDD guidance on service authorization. It's a document I'm happy to share with you, Colleen, too, as well, if you're interested in it.
Good, like that.
Absolutely. So, but really I can't speak to that because it depends on the person and, the other waiver services they're receiving.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, looks like there's another question from Tori. Are there any updates on ARC self-direction? I have 2 individuals on a wait list. Is that program still happening? So, Tori, that's a different department than who is here in this PowerPoint, or, during this presentation. So we can definitely speak offline. I can get you the contact information if you want to follow up with that team. But yes, the ARC self-direction is still happening.
Very much so. Does anybody have any other questions? Feel free to, if you'd prefer to unmute yourself versus typing in the chat box.
I have a quick question. I have an individual on my caseload who is awaiting a risk assessment. Will that hinder his ability to access ComHab? No, apparently no one can hear me.
No,
We can hear you. Yeah.
Oh,
I would think that it would depend on the outcome of the risk assessment.
Right, so you
So
have to wait for the results of the risk assessment.
if they're actively already in that process, then yes, we would need to wait to make sure that we have that documentation.
Yeah, actively being OPWDD says this needs to be scheduled. So now we're waiting on the, yeah, okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Hi, I had a quick question. For Community Hab, if they have to have an EpiPen on them for a food allergy, do they have to be able to use the EpiPen? Because you said that no medication, or they have to be independent with their medication. Does that include an EpiPen?
For an EpiPen, the Arc of Monroe does train staff to be able to administer an EpiPen
Okay,
through
thank
their
you.
first aid CPR.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? And like I said, we are recording this too, so we will, after today's meeting, we'll upload it to the ARC's YouTube page, and I will send a link to everybody so that you have access to go back. And of course, any contact or any information I know Denisha and Molly were able to share, and you can always reach out to myself, Carmela, Kim, anybody at the outreach and enrollment team too, to get you to the right places if we can't answer your questions as well. All right. If there are no more questions, we will let you have the rest of your day back. I appreciate everybody's time, and thank you so much for signing up today. We really appreciate people wanting to learn more about our services. So we always are encouraged when we get a good group of people to join in. So we appreciate that.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.